Hey everybody, it's Troy with DIY Home and Auto. Today we're going to work on our 2006 Dodge Grand Caravan. Excuse me. About 3 weeks ago, my brother and I replaced the struts on this. They were making all kinds of noise when it was going up and down and whatever, and we haven't taken it in for an alignment yet. We probably need to do that just to make sure that the camber is right, which is the angle up and down, side to side this way, as well as the toe, which is the inward pointing of the tires. I know that we need an alignment. I get that. I don't have time to take it in right now, so I'm going to have to do something just because it's pulling hard to the right. So I'm just going to go over a real quick how to do this in your garage just to make sure that everything's more or less straight, so that you can get by until you can get in for a real alignment. This in no way replaces an official laser alignment. This is just going to get it close so that you're not wearing tires. My fear is that we're going to start eating tires, and tires are really expensive, and I don't want to have that expense if I can avoid it. So I'm going to do this to get me by for about a week until my time frees up enough to where I have time to take it in to get the official alignment done. So hang with me, let's do it. So the very first step that you want to do when you do an alignment is to make sure that the steering wheel is straight. So you want to start with the steering wheel in as straight of position as you can possibly get it. That ensures that you're trying to align it with straight ahead. So that's what we're doing. And then what you do is you look down, and I'm going to try to do this with this camera so that you can see. It's kind of hard to see, but you try to line up both edges of this front tire with both edges of the rear tire. I know that the back is straight because we didn't do anything with the back tire. So this tire is actually off a little bit. I've already eyeballed this. Let's look at the passenger side. Make sure my display's on. There we go. And this side, and what I do is I close one eye, so I'm only looking down the line with one eye. And this side is pretty much dead on. So the side that I need to try to adjust is the driver's side. So, because this is a van and it's low to the ground, I need to get it up in the air so that I can get under there to see exactly where those adjustments are made. Whew, man, I need to exercise, go on a diet, something. Let's get it up in the air, get it on jack stands, set your emergency brake. Always think safety. Remember, don't do dumb stuff. Don't be that guy. So I've already set the emergency brake. You can also block the wheels if you're worried about the car moving at all. But let's get the jack stands, get this up in the air. We'll crawl under the car and we'll see what we're doing. Alright, so we're up underneath the van. This is the driver's side. This is the tire that we need to adjust. And what we've got, this is the drive shaft that actually gives power to the wheel. This is your steering control arm, and that's where we need to make our adjustment. You can see that that's threaded there and there's a nut there. The way that this adjusts is we've got to get that nut loose, backed off just a hair from the tie rod end. So it's most likely seized up. We are here in Utah where there's lots of salt, so I'm going to use some of this penetrating oil from Planet Safe Lubricants. I've been in contact with them, and they've actually renamed this product. It's now called AIM, A-I-M. I'm not sure exactly what that stands for, but it's basically the same formula. This stuff is a penetrating lubricant. It doesn't smell like anything at all. This stuff is fantastic. So I'm just going to put a squirt on there, and give it a minute to penetrate down inside there and make sure that that thing's loose enough for me. And I'm gonna also be careful not to have any overspray go down onto my brakes, right? You don't want anything getting down there. As far as lubrication goes, you don't want your brakes lubed, otherwise you won't be stopping. So I'll kind of spray at an angle where the overspray is not going to get into the brakes. So do that, and then I'm going to bust that loose. And then these teeth right here that are on there, you just grab that with a pipe wrench and you turn it whichever direction. And I need the back of the tire to go out, so the tire needs to turn that way just a hair. So I need to turn that such that it comes out of the tie rod end to push the tire in the direction I want it to go, or to pull it in the direction you want it to go. So that's what we're going to do, and we'll get to that point and then I'll show you again. Alright, real quick update. I backed the nut on the tie rod end off about, maybe 2 turns or so, and that gives me enough room to drive that inner tie rod end in. Make sure you can see where I'm pointing. I need that to go in to pull the back side of the tire out. I think I pointed the wrong direction the first time, but I double checked to make sure I'm going the right way. And now it's just a matter of, I'm using a pipe wrench to turn the inner tie rod a couple of turns, and then I will double check to see where my alignment is. But it's just a matter of doing that, and then eyeball your tires to make sure that the alignment is where you want it, and then we'll re-secure the tie rod end nut. Make sure that's good and tight up against that. Make sure again that your tires are straight, and then you're good to go. So let's do that. I'm just gonna get this all lined up. Oh, and one more point I thought I'd make real quick is I've got my jack stand sitting on my lower control arm, and I did that so that there's still pressure on the tire, so that the weight of the van is still being held in the suspension of the front end, so that that's not at play when I'm trying to do the alignment. So if you set your jack stand somewhere else that's part of the subframe, your tires they just don't ride like they ride when the weight is on the van. So let me get this dialed in and then we'll take a look. Alright, so that's it. Got that thing all dialed in. I'm using a pipe wrench on that, and that's probably, I don't know if that's the best tool or not for that, but pliers, it was just too hard to get pliers on it. And just be careful not to mar that up too bad when you do it. Got the nut tightened back up. What you want for this job is a 7/8 inch box end wrench. And of course you're going to use the box end for there. And then you may also need some good old-fashioned encouragement. I had to hit that thing a couple times pretty good. Make sure the wrench is seated up all the way on the nut so you don't round it off. And then just get after it till it comes loose. And it's the typical lefty-loosey, righty-tighty, so left to, or counterclockwise to take it off, and clockwise to put it back on. But I got this thing, I got it all dialed in. Let's check it out and see what we got. If I can get off the ground. Alright. So, looking down the passenger side first. Make sure you guys can see that. It looks like the wheel turned just a little bit as I tightened that. You can just adjust it with your hand as long as the steering wheel's not locked. But right there is dead on for this side. It might be hard to see on the screen or on the video, but remember, close one eye so you're only looking with one eye, not looking in stereo. And then you come to the other side that you adjusted and do the same thing. Just look down the tire line of sight, and man, that is just about as close as it's gonna get for a driveway alignment. So there you have it, a driveway alignment, 2006 Dodge Grand Caravan. And again, this does not replace an actual alignment. I'm still taking this in for a laser alignment. So We have technology for a reason. You pay good money to those people who invested in that tool, so be sure and use that every time you do something suspension wise. Be sure and get a proper alignment. So I just did this so I'm not eating through tires in the meantime until I can actually get it in for the alignment. So again, this is Troy with Do It Yourself Home and Auto. Be safe out there, do awesome things, and we'll see you next time. I'll be sure and click like and subscribe so you can see more do-it-yourself stuff, automotive, home repair, that kind of thing. So thanks for your support. Be sure and like and subscribe. See you soon.